Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic, and today we are going to be doing the mid-year calm down tag. Hello everyone and welcome to the mid-year calm down tag. This was created by Leandra the TBR0 in response to the mid-year freakout tag, and this is more focused on looking at what you've already accomplished this year and kind of resetting and getting yourself ready for the second half to be in a good headspace. And I am really excited to be doing this tag today. There are 10 questions or topics to talk about, so I am going to jump right in because I anticipate this being a little bit chatty. So the first topic is thankfulness. What has 2025 given me so far? And honestly, I think this question might have the same answer for me every year because honestly, the community is what I am thankful for here on BookTube. I am thankful that I have friends both to buddy read with that wrote me into their projects, who are willing to chat with me about content or books or what have you, and I just really enjoy that part of being a booktuber. That is the big thing that has kept me going through BookTube. I think I will always be a reader, but being on BookTube, it has all about being part of the community for me, and it has been a really fun year so far. I have done a bunch of buddy reads with my friends, including Leandra from Leandra the TBR0, as well as Danny Dabbles and Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading. We've had amazing times reading books this year, and I look forward to doing it even more in the future. I have several more planned with friends throughout the rest of the year, and I'm just so excited because those experiences always make the book better for me, whether it's one of those friends like I mentioned or ones that aren't booktubers and people that I, have met along the way, but we are friends behind the scenes, whatever have you. Like, the community and those buddy reads have enriched my reading this year, and I am so excited to do more of that. Then also being a part of my friends' projects, whether that is being a co-host like I was for Rainy at the beginning of the year during Get a Clue, or just hanging out in my friends' readathon servers when they're happening and seeing what kind of cool projects they've come up with. Those are my favorite parts of this, and I'm so thankful to be included or just participate and see my friends flourish. It is so fun, and they are so creative, and their creativity inspires me to keep going. I love that about this. Also, just like everyone who takes the time to come to my sprints or comment on a video or message me about a book that they like that I recommended, all of those things really mean a lot to me, and I am thankful for all of that community and support throughout the year. It's really special, it's really fantastic, and I really appreciate all of you. Number 2 is Relaxation, a relaxing read, and I have a couple of answers for this. The first is my reread of the Kate Daniels series, which I started, I think, last year when the graphic novels started coming out. Graphic audios started coming out. It might be 2 years ago at this point, and I've kind of just been keeping up as the graphic audios come out because I've really been enjoying them. But this series is such a comfort to me. I've reread the first half of the series several different times, but this is my first time kind of getting to the finish line on reread again, and I don't even know if I've reread the last book since I read it originally. I'm not sure, but these books are some of my favorites. I really enjoy the Andrews as authors. I reread their series and their books a lot, even if it's not the entire series. So turning these on after a bad day or a whatever, I love having these, and I love rereading them, and I think this is going to be something that I do more often, even if it's just something that I don't count in my books, but just I love these characters, I love this world, I love the magic, and it's something that I love going back to. So I am definitely relaxed when I am rereading this series, and I'm really enjoying this process. The other answer I have for this is when I reread God Killer this year, when I started the year off by reading this and annotating it and tabbing it up. I had such a good time doing this, and it was the ultimate process of relaxation, because I had to be totally focused on this book to annotate it, to catch the things I wanted to catch, to kind of sink deeper into this story and think about it more than I had when I read it the first time. And I just really, really enjoyed that, and I had a great time doing that. It was also just such a delight to spend time in a world that you love so much. So both of these series rereads really are relaxing to me and were fantastic to kind of just bring me back to enjoying reading to relax. Number 3 is Hydration, a book that I needed, and for this I'm choosing Chaos Choreography by Shauna Maguire. This is a series that follows encrypted hunters, and they are a family. It's very Shauna Maguire, it's very urban fantasy, and I have enjoyed it a lot, but I am buddy reading it with a friend, and we had taken a little bit of a break before we jumped into this book, if I remember correctly, and I sort of was in the middle of a reading slump, and my friend really wanted to continue the series, and I was like, yes, we should, absolutely, and I was a little nervous because reading slump, but this pulled me back into reading, and I'll tell you why. Because it is a Shauna Maguire book, and it's a Shauna Maguire urban fantasy. Therefore, I pretty much know the stakes. I know how serious we're going to get. I know what is not going to happen, which is sometimes just as important as what is going to happen. And the story is going to be familiar and comforting enough that I have to pay attention so that I know what's going on in the details, but the rhythms of the story are going to be familiar for me because I've read all of her October Day series at this point, and now we are 5 books deep into the Encrypted series, so I'm very familiar with the beats of a Shauna Maguire story, and I'm just really enjoying this series. So I really needed this to kind of jumpstart my reading at that point when I was in a slump and get me to the point where I enjoyed reading again, and I needed a comfort read, but it was almost a reread, like it's as close as I could get to a reread without rereading a book. And sometimes that's what you need to get out of a slump. Number 4 is Nourishment, a book that energized me. And for this, I'm choosing Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I read this at the beginning of June, and I was nervous about how amazing readathon was going to go. And this book really jump-started my month. It was one that I've been anticipating for a while, that a bunch of my friends had recommended to me, and it just sounded like a Julie book because of the description, the setting, the magic, the fairy, all of these things, and I have liked Olivia Atwater in the past. And this really jump-started my month. It really got me in the mood to participate and stay on top of things, and I was really excited by how much I loved this book. So this was one that really just nourished me, got me going, and kept me going. Number 5 is Familiarity, an author you've returned to, and I've already talked a lot about my Kate Daniels reread and my Godkiller reread. I'm also rereading the Truth Witch series by Susan Dennard, and this is one that I've really enjoyed sinking my teeth into once again and kind of going back to this series and relearning the world in anticipation of the finale in the fall. So this has been a lot of fun, really affirming that I still love this series. But I also went back to Robert Jackson Bennett, which was the second book in the Leviathan series by this author. This is A Drop of Corruption, which was one of the buddy reads that I talked about earlier that just was so fantastic. And I returned to this author, and I was nervous about reading the second book a little bit because even though I enjoyed the first book so much, I have DNF'd a series by this author before. So this was just something that I was so excited that worked so well for me, and that I enjoyed so much continuing this series and how much I just adored it. So this was a big win for me, and one that was very exciting when I read it and enjoyed it. So very, very happy return to this author when I wasn't expecting that. Number 6 is Healthy Risk, a book outside of my comfort zone or a new to me author. And for this, I'm choosing At the Bottom of the Garden by Camilla Bruce. This is one that I buddy read with Danny over at Danny Dabbles. See, I told you I'm gonna have to talk about the buddy reads a lot because they really made my first half of the year. I read so many of my favorite books by buddy reading them. Now, this isn't a new favorite, but it was outside of my comfort zone. It was a fantasy horror, and it was something that sounded really appealing to me when I saw the description of it, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be for me, and I found it actually to be really interesting, really compelling, one that I would definitely try from this author again or in this genre, but it was definitely a step outside of what I'm comfortable with and what I typically read. But I had a great time with it, and it was one that really took me by surprise in the first half of the year. Number 7 is reflection. What are some changes to your reading taste? And for me, this is actually almost the opposite, that I am almost reaffirming all of the things that I really like, the things that I am rereading, the types of magic that I like, the types of stories that I like, and the ones that I have kind of re-explored and re-enjoyed. So I've been doing all of that rereading, and it just is like driving me back to the things that I absolutely love, since I'm having so much fun doing those rereads. And it's been a really interesting process. Like when I talk about things that are my buzzwords, settings that I really like, I'm just kind of reading in those settings right now and reading in those worlds, and it's just been fantastic, and it has made me feel like this is what I should be reading. So even though I have explored a bit, branched out, tried new things, of course, the rereading has been something that just has reminded me how much I love the genres I love. Number 8 is Detox, a book habit that I am leaving behind. And I think this is more, I'm pretty good at DNFing books that I am currently reading, but I'm not so good at DNFing a series or a group of books. And for me, I think I'm trying to leave that behind. I think I'm trying to learn to say, if I read the first book and I only liked it, that I don't want to continue on, that I want to take it off of my series currently reading list. And I think that is harder for me because I am not actively reading the book. If I'm not actively looking at the things that I didn't love about them, or if the book was just okay, it's hard for me to say like, no, I'm never going to go to it, because curiosity is a thing that gets me in trouble a lot with this type of thing. I'm very curious about if the author has improved, if the next book is going to be different. But I think I need to learn, if the first book was only 3 stars and I'm not feeling a strong drive to continue it, to just let it go and say it was fine, but I don't need to read more. Number 9 is positivity, anticipated books or events. I am really looking forward to continuing to buddy read in the second half of the year. It's just something I've learned to love. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also just really excited to continue these series that I've been talking about, that I've been rereading, and other things like A Curse Carved in Bone, which is the second book in A Fate Inked in Blood. I would also like to continue on with the Brown Sister series that I started last year, and I would really like to read the next book in that series. There's a lot of books that I have on my TBR that have come out recently that I'm really excited about. I haven't read the new Emily Henry yet, A Great Big Beautiful Life, and I also need to read Atmosphere this month, which both were anticipated releases for me, so I'm excited to get to those, and I'd really like to, pick them up and read them before the end of the year. There is a couple of events in my local area that I have found that I am excited to see if I can make it to, that are bookish. And I also have a local indie bookstore who has a lot of events and book clubs and such, and I've participated in their events a lot in past years, but this year has been a little more sparse, so I'd like to try to get back into that in the second half of the year and to continue to support them throughout the year. I'm also looking forward to the finale of the Witchland series being released, and I'm excited about that, and to see these series that I have known have been going on for a long time get their finales and come to their conclusions, and to see what's happening. Oh, I'm also excited for the Raven cycle to come out in graphic novel form. That is happening this summer, and I'm so excited for that to come to fruition. So another series that I am just super excited to see when it does come out. Number 10 is looking ahead. What are your personal plans and goals for the rest of the year? And for me, I think one of my big goals is to just be a little more consistent, and also to plan ahead a little more. I have mostly been a fly by the seat of my pants type booktuber for a while. I usually have one video posted a few days before it goes out to the public, but I'm not usually I have a plan, but it's very loose. I'm usually getting things up on time, but not much ahead, and I'd like to try to change that. I'd also like to try to do more short form content and Instagram content in the rest of the year. I've kind of been working on that here in the middle of the summer, trying to kind of work ahead in those areas as well. So we'll see how that works out, but I do think that if I could get a little bit ahead some of these larger projects that I'd like to work on, vlogs that I can work on in the background and such, I think I would be able to do that a little easier, a little better, a little less stress on me if I could get a little bit of a buffer in between what I'm currently posting and what I'm working on. So we shall see if that happens, but that is a goal for me in the second half of the year. I'm also trying to work on my physical TBR in the second half of the year. I have really not made much progress in the goal that I set myself to have it by the end of the year, and I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I think we're actually going to talk about resetting some goals coming this second half, but we shall see. But that is it for me today. If you have any thoughts or feelings or want to share anything about the books that I talked about today, please let me know down below. If you aren't feeling chatty, just leave me whatever emoji says relaxation to you, whether that's the meditating emoji or I don't know, whatever you're feeling, leave that down below for me. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me in this first half of the year. I can't wait to see what the second half has in store for us, and I will see you next time. Bye.